Okay, John, the floor is yours. It's one of our favorite segments. It's the bee in the bonnet. Pull up that graphic, please, Julia. Thank you very much.
Do we have a sponsor for this yet? Do we have a sponsor?
No, we really should. It's like, I don't know.
It should be like a Tabasco sauce or a chili mix or something heated, something that makes you immediately think of how annoyed and disgruntled that we are on certain topics of the year.
Or how about like a honey tie-in?
Or
if we could
get but honey is more soothing. Honey. So I guess you look at it as after I emote all of the my concerns and annoyance, that I then get a calm and like tea and honey, which you're already doing to me, Joe. Just by you got me pissed off. You didn't bet on entrepreneurship, and then I relaxed, and now I'm getting So Joe, the bee in my bonnet for this time of year is I don't understand whatsoever why Resolute Racing is breeding two-time champion Goodnight Olive to seize the gray, and this is not in any way, shape, or form, a me being annoyed or upset or anything like that about seize the gray. I have no animosity about the horse. Okay, so be that as it may, I have a lot of respect for Anthony Beck. I have a lot of respect for Gainesway. I have a lot of respect for Brian Graves. They negotiated to have the horse stand there. It makes sense. And they're standing him for the right price for $30,000. But Joe, you cannot economically take, and rationally take a horse like Goodnight Olive, who is a two-time champion. You pay $6 million for, with the idea that you're gonna retire her and breed her. Then you breed her to Not This Time, who again, is one of the top stallions in the world. And there's no question as to why you do that genetically, why you do that from a financial standpoint, why you do that from a commercial standpoint, checks all the physical standpoint, checks all the boxes that you would do. But it just doesn't make any sense why you'd spend $6 million on a two-time champion and then breed it to an unproven $30,000 stallion. Mares only have one chance per year to produce a foal. And to handicap your mare by breeding it, beneath her, basically, to an unproven first-year stallion, a $30,000 stallion at that, doesn't make any sense to me. And the quotes that were given as to why they decided to breed Goodnight Olive to seize the gray is, the first quote was, "We wanted to get this nailed down," meaning breeding Goodnight Olive to seize the gray, "before his book fills up." Now, Joe, you got a two-time champion who is a daughter of Go Sapper. Thank you. and
I know it was call and response.
Call and response, and is actually pretty well bred. I mean, ran beyond her pedigree. But anytime you're a two-time champion, you're running beyond anybody's pedigree for that matter. But I would have to say that if you were deciding to whom you were going to breed your two-time champion mare to, and you had all the stallions that were out there, and you said, "Oh, you know what? I want to breed her to this new $30,000 stallion that's standing at Gainesway Farm." I don't think that any of the people at Gainesway, I don't think Graves or Beck or anybody who represents Gainesway would say, "I'm sorry, we're full. We're full. I can't get another spot for you for Goodnight Olive." You're shit out of luck. That's number one. Okay. So it doesn't matter if he's full, not full, or anywhere in between. They could have gotten to him, probably for free. If he was any kind of a negotiator, he could do it. But that's beside the point. Second quote is, "I wanted access to the late Arrogate, and that Seize the Gray will be more valuable as a stallion." Okay. So, there are other stallions. We talked about it a couple weeks ago. There's another son of Arrogate named Archangelo that's out there that, had that bred to 150 plus mares, last year, and would have the same rating according to, the quick and dirty rating system that you can get on the bloodhorse.com. It would have an A plus, whether it's, Seize the Gray, who's a son of Arrogate, or Archangelo, who's a son of Arrogate. It's basically the same grade that you have. And at one point in time, I don't see it on his feed anymore, but at one point in time, John Stewart popped up, what the 5-cross or 6-cross would look like, and said, "This is why I'm doing it." And it was an A plus on the True Nicks. Well, it's the same A plus for Archangelo. So it's not just that there aren't any other Arrogates, and there are actually 5 sons of Arrogate that are standing out there. So if you're going to breed to a $30,000 stallion, you might as well go ahead and breed her to a 5,000 Arrogate stallion if you really believe the genetics are the way to go. Problem 3, Joe, and I know you're going to bring this up, so I'm going to bring it up first, is you're breeding Goodnight Olive to Seize the Gray, and the foal would be 3x3 to Smart Strike. Now, for the love of inbred cousins, there's no way that you should be breeding a mare and have the foal be 3x3 to anything. And I know you can point to certain horses that have done really well that are inbred that closely, and I can give you 10 times as many examples of ones that have failed when you're that closely inbreeding to a horse. But again, that's really close to go ahead and breed to a close relative to it. So I just don't get it. I don't get it. You could just as easily, when you breed,
notes he had.
when you breed this Go Sapper mare to Not This Time, Joe, that's 23% stake winners to starters. That's a really heady percentage, 23%. So 1 out of 4. And that cross has gotten, has produced Up to the Mark, who's a grade 1 and standing at stud. Princess Noor, who was also a grade 1 winner. Next, who was a grade 2 winner. Fire on Time was a grade 2 winner. So those are just 4 examples of grade 2 or grade 1 winners from the Not This Time to Go Sapper, cross. So that one that he did the first year makes a ton of sense. If you wanted to have the same grade, meaning an A or A plus, you could breed the mare to Quality Road. You could breed the mare to a Son of Gunrunner. You could breed the mare to Constitution, all of which are A or A pluses and would fulfill the same grade as the one that they posted online. So I don't get it. I don't understand. It doesn't make economic sense. It doesn't make genetic sense. It just doesn't make logical sense. And all this is nonsense because it's his horse, not mine. And why should I really give a shit, that people can do what they want with their own horses, and that's all well and good. But don't try to tell me that this is for the betterment of the breed, or don't try to tell me this makes economic sense or that this makes genetic sense when it doesn't. And whoever's giving you that information is not being forthright. I mean, it just isn't being true to their word. So, do they own a piece of Seize the Gray, and that's why they're breeding the mare to Seize the Gray? Well, then, if that's the case, I don't know if that is, but if that's the case, then say it, and then everyone will be like, "Oh, okay, you're using your share, and you're breeding her to one of the best mares that's on, God's green earth." And then at least people would say he's trying to promote his own stallion, and that makes sense. But if you're doing it for the other reasons that he mentioned, because he was afraid he wasn't going to, get a season to the horse, that's bullshit. If you're saying it because he was afraid that, or he wanted to make sure that he was going to a proper son of Arrogate or Unbridled Song, there's other ones out there. And probably the best, argument is, why would you breed to a $30,000 unproven stallion when there are so many other stallions out there that are proven that would, beget a much more valuable foal for you at the end of the day? I have another page of notes, but I'm done.
It's like he's in a courtroom with the level of notes that he had.
If it pleases the court.
Exhibit B. No, we'll adjourn for the day, because that was a good one. That was an excellent rant. Yeah, someone sponsor this shit, man. We will come up with bees to put in our bonnet if we have to every week.
Oh, we get pissed off enough, Felipe, in the back channel. There's always a topic that we get pissed off about. We just don't necessarily say it on the show. But yeah, it's a great sponsorship, opportunity for sure.